a good morning here to you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside of the Heritage Hill studios. Heritage Hill coming to you in the city and the country right here in central and upstate New York. You'll find them in the city, and you'll find us there live on site on location coming up this Friday, August 2nd. Very excited for that opportunity to be at Heritage Hill North with each and every single one of you on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse. Their newest location, Heritage Hill North at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, right by the Syracuse Hancock International Airport. And we'll be there this Friday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. celebrating CNS North Stars swimming and diving for boys and girls. Make sure you come out and see us there. And of course, Heritage Hill Brewhouse out in the country, 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York on the Palladino Farms. And it looks like you step right into a painting. It is absolutely beautiful. Just hills and majesty, God's creation for days. So make sure you head out to Heritage Hill Brewhouse and check them out there as well. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. A lot of great things coming up today. Of all 17 member institutions in the football world of the Atlantic Coast Conference, and ending that broadcast with my predicted order of finish from 1 through 17. You can go back and listen to that show by going to all of our podcasting platforms worldwide: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn. You can check us out on all of those by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And you can also find the video of that on YouTube.com and on Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT. We're going to continue the conversation today with HerbFM Sports Radio coming from there. Christopher Heidel and Adam Lemerise joining me here on the broadcast. And in hour number 2, as he always does, Papa Joe will be here with us. We'll be talking about Major League Baseball, as PJ and I will be breaking down the trades that happened before the deadline. But before any of that comes to you, we have a very special announcement that I promised you would happen this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Here on August 1st, it is the official opening day of our partnership with a company that I have known most of my life. And they've expanded down to North Carolina. And folks, the message now comes to you all in Pinehurst, North Carolina, about our newest partner that you have to go out and see.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. The Brooklyn Pickle on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. They're in Pinehurst. Go to Brooklyn Pickle and have what I consider the best sandwich, the best deli sandwich you're going to find anywhere. Listen, folks, there are places that you can go and get yourself a sandwich. And yes, they have soups. They got a bunch of stuff there. But there is no place like the Brooklyn Pickle. And if it was up to me, I'll tell you, if you've never been there before, if you're going to go to the Brooklyn Pickle, get the sandwich named after the restaurant. Get the BP, the Brooklyn Pickle, without doubt. I just got it down in North Carolina last week when I was covering the ACC. So I look forward to y'all trying the Brooklyn Pickle today. 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Brooklyn Pickle, Pinehurst. Welcome to the family. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I'm here with these gents from HerbFM Sports Radio. Christopher Heidel to my right on your screen, and right underneath here, Adam Lemerise. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Good morning.
Doing good, Dan.
So I think it's only fair to do this, though. What'd you say?
Yeah, I will say this.
Wait a minute.
Welcome to North Carolina.
Thank you,
Um,
sir.
Happy you have a sponsor now in the state that I reside in. So, yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy football month, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, very excited about this, and I felt like it was proper to do the unveiling here. So I had the wake up call sweatshirt on over the BP. So it's time to let everybody know Brooklyn's in the house once again. So let's
Yes.
have some fun here. We know that those of you that are in the North Carolina area and are down there in the Pinehurst area especially, you're going to go and get some Brooklyn pickle while you watch these ACC football games this season. We were down at the ACC and we saw a ton of teams come through. You guys got there a little bit before me because I was covering the American in Texas. So tell me about those first couple days. And Chris, I'll start with you here. What your thoughts were about the new faces that we saw, that being SMU, who I know very well, and then Cal and Stanford. So what was the experience like on day number 1 and 2, right? Because Cal and
Yeah.
Stanford were on day 2, I believe, and SMU was day 1.
Right. It was pretty cool to see SMU on day one, against with Florida State and Georgia Tech and Commissioner Phillips, who, in my opinion, I think he did a Texas two-step around that whole Florida State Clemson lawsuit because I don't think he couldn't say anything because it's
Yeah.
it's under a gag order. But I think he brought out during the press conference, if you watched it from Dallas, he actually called out Commissioner Swappin. And people don't say, and people said to me, no, he didn't. Yes, you did. If you listen to it, he mentioned his name. And if anybody knows about calling out on people, if you mention, hey, Dan, I go on my show like, hey, Dan, that's like you're calling somebody out. And he didn't. I don't know if he made a derogatory comment towards Swappin, or he just told Swappin like, what are you doing? Yeah, because Swappin's helping Florida State get out of this thing. Because that's what the stories I heard down in Tallahassee during the springtime. And then with Clemson, he's just I don't know why Clemson sued the ACC. I think they just wanted to join in with the party because I still don't understand why they're in the lawsuit. So Commissioner Phelps talked to everybody, basically different questions, and then first up was Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech was very confident of where they are right now in practice, getting ready for the season. And the coach there for Georgia Tech, wants to change the narrative of the organization because after last year, winning the bowl game in Florida against Central Florida, he feels like his team is ready to take on the next step, and that means August 24th in Ireland against the Knowles. And then we saw basically Adam? We saw a laser focus Mike Norvell that basically like he was looking like why am I here? Can I get out of here quickly? Because he's ready to go. He looked like he was like, why am I in Charlotte this morning? Let's go. Let's get out of here. But he was good. He was good. I asked him a question about the Orange Bowl last year, the debacle, and he gave me a great answer about, he learned a lot about it. He learned about, more about his team, and he was very pleased. So he didn't have to see them, saw him January 1st or whatever right after the Orange Bowl, and everybody was ready to go. They're in the weight rooms. They were like focused on getting back to where they were. And that's great. That's good for Seminole fans if you hear, your team is laser focused and ready to go for the first game of the year. I just hope, we not put all our eggs in the practices and making sure we're ready to go in 3 weeks down over in Ireland.
Yeah. Adam, for you, what was it like to see this expansion? I mean, the Atlantic Coast Conference, by definition, is supposed to be up and down the Atlantic Coast, yet we have two Pacific Coast teams in Cal Berkeley and in Stanford, and beyond that, we have SMU in the middle of the country in Dallas, Texas. So seeing them come in, what was that like? What was the experience like? Did the coaches make any joke about it? Did they have any reaction to it that was interesting of like, hey, we're here now? I mean, how did you take the entrance of the new faces, so to speak?
Well, first of all, it was really cool to see three new schools in the ACC, especially SMU, folks. SMU is going to be not a fluke. They have an outstanding coach and Coach Brett Lashley. Their quarterback, Preston Stone, was really nice to talk with, and also their other quarterback as well. And they open up their ACC season against the defending ACC champs, Florida State. That game was sold out in Dallas already. So I wouldn't be surprised if that game comes down to like the last play, last moments of the game, last minute of the game, because it's going to be high intensity game. Allen Stanford, yeah, I enjoyed being around Coach Wilcox from California and their quarterback Francisco Mendoza. He's from Miami, so he knows about rivalries, because he knows about the Miami Florida State rivalry. I asked him a question about that, and Mendoza, and he's from, and with Stanford, um, they have a history, um, out out on the West Coast in the old Pac-12 conference. Rest in peace. It's still weird not having the Pac-12. I will say, I think Stanford is going to be in a learning mode this year. I believe they were picked toward the bottom of the conference, in the
Yeah.
preseason poll that came out yesterday. So, SMU is a team that you don't want to face. Trust me. They don't tell you after covering them, when they were in the American, they're going to come out firing.
Yeah.
So, SMU, who knows? We could see SMU in Charlotte in December. You never know.
Yeah, SMU, and it's nice to see that people are seeing the value of them. I didn't know how they were going to take them because, unfortunately, people look at the American from the outside looking in. They haven't given a lot of respect, or respect has been earned. I don't even want to say respect is due. It's been earned by this conference, and yet they still haven't received it from certain people and from media around the country just in coverage of it. And it was funny how UCF and Houston and Cincinnati, people are like, who are those teams? They're not anybody. They don't matter, da 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 da. And then as soon as they signed on to be Big 12 teams, people were like, oh my gosh, we got three of the best institutions in the country. I can't believe it. And I talked to Mike Oresco about it, the longtime commissioner at the AAC. And Mike and I were discussing it. He goes, didn't it seem like they were one thing and then they signed a sheet of paper and all of a sudden they became something else? And I was like, yeah, it's ridiculous. And that's what I thought with SMU. I'm like, okay, is the ACC going to go, this is chump change, whatever, this is another team to beat up on? Then they get in the conference and people are like, oh my gosh, they're pretty good. The thing about SMU, and they were picked, and I did my predicted order of finish. So, I'm looking at this right now, and I want to see. So this is what the media had. I want to release the media's top 17, and then I'll re-release mine so we can discuss it here. The media's picks for this. Let me go down and grab them again here. So they went with Florida State first, and we talked about this. And our thoughts on this, and my thoughts on it, and your guys' thoughts on it. So Florida State was picked first. This is the predicted order of finish by overall media. Florida State 1, Clemson 2, Miami 3, NC State 4, Louisville 5, Virginia Tech 6, SMU 7, North Carolina 8, Georgia Tech 9, Cal 10, Duke 11, Syracuse 12, Pittsburgh 13, Boston College 14, Wake Forest 15, Virginia 16, Stanford 17. Mine was similar but different. Clemson number 1, Florida State number 2, Louisville number 3, NC State number 4, Virginia Tech number 5. So that's around the same area as the overall media that voted in the ACC poll. North Carolina number 6, I put them a little bit higher. Miami number 7, Syracuse number 8 from their 12. SMU they had at 7. I have SMU at 9, but I've argued that SMU can move up this thing. BC number 10, Georgia Tech number 11, Duke number 12, so kind of in that same world. Wake Forest number 13, Cal I lowered down to 14, Stanford I put up 2 spots to 15, and then I have Pitt 16, Virginia 17. What do you guys think about this, looking at it? Florida State, Clemson, Miami, NC State, Louisville, top 5, and that the bottom feeders that they have here are BC, Wake, Virginia, and Stanford. So it's funny how the media and I didn't necessarily have many of these exactly the same, but the overall media of the ACC, we were thinking the same when we were within a spot, a couple spots. So, Adam, I'll start with you here. What do you think about this poll and how the media has gauged the ACC?
I think I kind of agree. You know, when I did my picks, I went with Florida State first, Miami second, and Clemson was third. Because after being around Coach Mario Cristobal and Cam Ward, shout out to Cam Ward's parents, because Chris and I had a chance to be around them while we were there at the ACC kickoff. They were such nice people. Yeah. And yeah. I think this is the year, you know, that Miami gets back to where it used to be, because Cam Ward, I know, has a lot of pressure on him, but Miami hasn't been up there in a long time, and something about that team this year, you know, I think, I'll just say this. We know, and they have another transfer, maybe Martinez, who came from Oregon State. So Miami, I'll just say this. When I make my pick for the ACC football championship game, don't be surprised if the rivalry we all know comes to Charlotte in December.
All right, I like it. Matt is here with us. He is on audio, not video. So if you can hear us, Matt, we're going to try and bring Matt Trecanelli in here to the broadcast. Matt, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Dan. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. So we're talking about the ACC predicted order of finish. And like I was saying, the media and I were not far away from each other. In most cases, we were within 1 or 2. We had the similar mindset of maybe a bunch of teams being in this area, some other teams being in that area. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the breakdown here. Florida State 1, Clemson 2, Miami 3, and looking at this top 5, NC State, Louisville, Virginia Tech just outside of it. And we were talking about SMU. Of the 3 newbies, SMU has been regarded by the media to be a top 7 ACC team in their first year in the ACC. So I'd love to get your thoughts on SMU, as well as what you think about this top 5 now that it's come out.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that you asked the question and everything. Yeah, SMU, I mean, it's interesting, because people might have thought, hey, this should be an easy game. They can, blow SMU out every weekend, just about. So, and SMU, so it's interesting to see where they are in the ACC right now. So that is interesting. And it'll be interesting to see how they perform, because we know that the SMU does have the capability of, doing well, So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they perform against these ACC teams. But I do like their ranking. But I do overall like it, because they're not putting them at the very bottom, but they're not putting them, of course, at the top either. Which, I mean, SMU, of course, should not be at the top. However, with that being said, I do agree with the Florida State Clemson. Now, with Miami, it all depends how they execute. You could have, like a Virginia Tech up there. You could have a Pittsburgh up there this year, since they didn't do well last year at all. So they might be on rebound and, want to go ahead, and they'll probably do much better this season. So yeah, that third spot, I think, is up for grabs. That Miami, it all depends. If their quarterback does well, then Miami will be there in third. If they don't do well, then Miami won't be in third. However, you got to watch out for some sleepers like, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. But one team that I ought to watch out for is Stanford. I know they haven't done well in the previous years, but watch out for them because they were, a really, really good school and everything. And they did go ahead and have some really good seasons there for a while. So watch out for them because they're not really being talked about much at all.
Yeah, it's definitely looking. I mean, Stanford has nothing to lose, right? Cal has nothing to lose because they're not highly regarded coming into the ACC. Now SMU is, and Rhett Lashley, as I've gotten to spend plenty of time with him, and as a man, and not just a football coach, I have a lot of respect for Rhett Lashley. I got a lot of respect for the work that he's put in. SMU hasn't shied away from anybody. And for those of you that don't know the history of SMU, no one's ever had the death penalty in college football except for SMU. And SMU had that death penalty, and it felt like it lingered for decades until Chad Morris got them to the postseason before he went to Arkansas. And when Chad left, it went on to Sonny Dykes. And Sonny Dykes did a tremendous job, went to TCU and vied for a national championship. And now you have Rhett Lashley. So it's not even that it's just Rhett. It's been a series of coaches at SMU that have shown that this is a really good program. And keep in mind, too, folks, Dallas, Texas, the ACC got a massive market. They got put in the state of Texas, in Dallas, in Jerry's world. That's huge. And SMU has leaned into that Dallas love. They put their logo where they got the Mustang with the triple D. They write Dallas across their jerseys at times here. I mean, they have really leaned into it. So the ACC, make no mistake, getting Dallas was a huge win for them. And SMU, getting into the ACC, they feel like they're ready for this. SMU can play spoiler. They have played spoiler. They are a team you don't want to face. They challenge themselves out of conference, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Mr. Heidel,
yes.
Do you believe... I know you're a Florida State fan, but this Florida State being picked number one, I feel like this has the essence of last year. I feel like when and I could be wrong, but when I see them pick number one overall, you don't have Jordan Travis anymore, spurned from the college football playoff. Seeing them get picked number one, I feel like it has remnants of Jordan Travis. It has remnants of being upset. It has remnants of they were disrespected. But we have to remember that this is a different team. They added some guys from Alabama. They added somebody from Georgia. They were busy in the transfer portal, including DJ Uiagalelei, who returns to the ACC from being at Clemson, then at Oregon State. A lot of this rests on, can DJ be the guy? Because behind DJ, you got freshmen. So do you really believe...
One guy, Dan, they still have the guy who played in the Orange Bowl still behind him, and he was injured most of the year. And when I talked to Mike Novell, he knows the offense. So if you have DJ, who I'm telling people right here, right now, if DJ struggles and he's not good around week 3 against Memphis, go back. See you later. I don't want you on my team. Let's bring somebody in. Because I feel like he's getting all the. And Matt, you agree with me too, right? It's DJ's has a lot of he's been in Clemson, he's been in Oregon State. Now he's back at Florida State, and okay, you've been bounced around the last couple of years. Let's see what you learned.
Yeah.
And your time bouncing around. And if you come in like Golston a couple of years ago, you're Notre Dame quarterback we had for 1 year that stunk, and he was like he was gone by week 5. I feel like if Mike Novell has he's like Sparky Anderson. He has a short leash. And he will pull DJ real quick and bring in whoever's the hot one during practice. And yes, we're going to struggle, but we got the run game. That's still the run game. And that running game will help us for the first couple of weeks to get that quarterback ready to go.
Well, and I think you mentioned the guy that came back. I just want to make a note here. They got 2 freshmen that you mentioned, number 11, Brock Glenn. And Brock Glenn played last season in a bunch of different games here sparingly until the end. So he got into the USM game. He got into the UNA game. He got into the game against the Gators. but not much out there. The games that we saw him in were looking back at the ACC championship against Louisville, where they won 16-6. He went 8 for 21 for 55 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 4 times. And in the Capital One Orange Bowl against Georgia, that they lost 63-3, he went 9 of 26 for 139 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, granted, he was thrown into the fire, and he's a young gun here because keep in mind, folks, I mean, this kid only played in a couple games, speaking of Brock Glenn, and, you know, playing in those last 2 games, because the games before, like I said, it was like 0 for 1, or he would just come into the game at the end of the game, you know, kid to take the knee or have somebody run the ball. But Brock coming back to this team, like you said, he knows the offense. This is a guy who, yes, he's been there. Yes, he knows the playbook. Yes, he's been around Mike Norvell. But his numbers don't really show a lot because he wasn't somebody that was asked to go in and really do much of anything. And he was thrown into the fire. I mean, think about it. This kid is a freshman last year. He's asked to play in the ACC championship, and he's asked to play in the Capital One Orange Bowl against Georgia. I mean, those were the 2 asks that they had of him.
Yeah, remember the national championship? You know, the ACC title game. We didn't know who was quarterbacking because you know the guy was, you know, our starting quarterback got knocked around with against he had a concussion against the Gators, and I talked to Mike Norvell on that Sunday. And I asked about his toughness, and he goes, I think, and Mike said it looks like he's going to be ready for Saturday. Yeah. And then when it was Saturday morning, you and I and Matt were doing our show from our hotel in Charlotte. And we get this thing watching the Big 12 championship game, and he said, "Oh, he's doubtful tonight." And we're like looking at each other like, "Okay, who's going to be quarterbacking?" And that guy, number 11, he just managed the game. That's all Mike wanted him to do: manage the ball game. Don't turn the ball over. Just give it to the running back. You know, if you see somebody, throw it to little passes, and that's what the guy did. He managed the game, and and he didn't put up the greatest numbers in the world, but a win is a win.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't care if you win by 7-6 or 13-6 or 16-6. That's a win. And the crap that we heard on the way home, Matt and I, on that Sunday afternoon, I still remember where we were, Matt, halfway between North Carolina and Maryland. You and I just looked at each other in the car going, "You got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
Hey Chris, it's called when I found out, after flying home from Charlotte, to Asheville. Well, I had a fan tell me this, about Florida State, being in the college football playoff, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And Chris, it's called. We were on the phone, as I was coming home, and it's like I've talked to fans up here, where I work, and it was like, and they can believe it. So it was, that was last year. This is this year. Yeah, we know Florida State has a transfer quarterback. But I will say this, that you do have running back Lawrence Philly, who was incredible last year. They have some incredible talent at wide receiver and tight end. So I think DJ Uiagalelei will fit in. It's 23 days until game against Georgia Tech in Ireland. So, they have a lot of time to get to, to gel, a lot of time, to get ready for fall camp before they've got to make the plane ride across the Atlantic Ocean. So, if they can gel, Florida State could do this year what they did last year, except this year we go to the college football playoff and write even more history.
And Adam, take a line from Major League's the movie. We're going to win the whole darn thing. Yeah, like what Jake Peters said.
Yes, that's right, Chris. That's right. Yeah, it's called. Yeah, it was. And our show on Monday night, we had the voice of Florida State, Jeff Colhane, on, and I was talking to him about all the different positions on offense, and from what Jeff told me, they look like they're ready to go. And if you go online and see Coach Norvell, he's been running into camp. I mean, he's been running with the team. It's like he wants to go to Ireland right now and go face Georgia Tech. And I don't know another coach back in of all the years I watched college football. I don't know of another coach that can is laser focused, ready to go, and he wants to go out there and play and win.
Yeah. And Dan and Adam and Matt knows about this last year. Your Irish went to Ireland to play Navy, and we at this time we didn't know what kind of quarterback Hartman was, right? Remember? Dan. Sam Hartman was the quarterback for Notre Dame. You didn't know what quarterback they're going to get. A guy from Wake Forest or a brand new quarterback, and you saw him against Navy, and he blew Navy out of the water, over there in Ireland. So that could be what DJ might be. We don't know what type of quarterback DJ is going to be on the 24th. He could be lights out, 4 touchdowns, blowing up, Georgia Tech 35-0 at the half.
Yeah.
Or it could be one of those struggle games, and we're going to be sitting there going, and it's like 7-6 at the half because DJ fumbled 3 times, and we've only scored 1 touchdown, and Georgia Tech's having the same issue.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you're going to see. I will say this, though. I do have show and tell today for you gentlemen, and this is numbered 25 out of 25 in the world, a 10 out of 10 gem mint orange sapphire refractor parallel autograph Bowman card of Mr. Jordan Travis.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
So,
and Adam, we saw him on the sideline. Remember, we saw him during the ACC championship.
That's good. We sure did. Yeah.
Yeah,
we were talking to him 3 years of the ACC kickoff. I said, Jordan, what happened here? And he goes, I don't know. I was running, and the guy just, I was like, I'm sitting at home, and I'm watching this on TV, and I had to stop. My girlfriend has a disability, and I'm doing this, Nicole. I wanted to watch it and see if he was okay.
Yeah.
Because my season was going downhill. And I said, what? And he was there warming up, with his friend just playing football. I said, you want to throw me a pass? He goes, well, I might hit somebody. I was like, well, I don't know. I'll go long, okay?
Yeah.
And he was laughing. But he was all in, Jordan, he has a great opportunity at the New York Jets to learn the game with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That's a great way of, yes, you did make it to the national title game. Here's your opportunity to learn better as a quarterback behind the great quarterback for the Jets, who basically Jets haven't had a quarterback since Joe Namath in 1968, going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their only sign of really some consistency at times was Chad Pennington. And keep in mind, folks, that for those of you that don't know, coming up very soon within Wake Up Call's next few episodes, Nate Hackett is going to be joining the show. Very good friend of mine. We met back in Syracuse when he was the offensive coordinator under Doug Marrone. We knew each other when he went from Syracuse to Buffalo to Jacksonville to Green Bay, everywhere that Nate Hackett has been the Denver Broncos head coach, and now he's with the Jets. So him and I are going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Cool.
We're going to be talking about Jordan Travis, who I think a couple of years from now, Jordan Travis is going to get the opportunity to be the New York Jets starting quarterback. I do believe that opportunity will be there for him to take. So I look forward to that and to the conversation. Matt, I want to go back to you here for a second because we talk about where sports meets life. And I know we've talked about the ACC a little bit. We're going to spin back to the ACC. But you said some pretty amazing words earlier on this week on HerbFM Sports Radio. And I want to just kind of share what you do, because in your line of work, your desire to help people is an everyday thing. And we talked about positivity. We talked about the need to help somebody else and to not just find the best in yourself, but to help someone reach down deep and find the best in themselves as well and pay it forward. So I'd love for you to share that, as the message on Wake Up Call has always been of God, of positivity, and of helping others.
Yeah, Dan, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's about, God and our Lord, and, we receive the nourishment from Him. And, each and every day we should just all be thankful and grateful that we're all alive and that we get to be able to help others, serve others, and just impact the world. So first and foremost, I mean, because I mean that's the thing. So, but yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. See, the thing about life is you have to go beyond yourself. I mean, this is a thing where we're only here on Earth for a certain period of time. So you know what? Why not just go ahead and serve others, help others, do whatever you can to help others out, whatever way it may be, with your family, with friends, with loved ones, at work, okay, with your coworkers, supervisors, and the list can go on and on. But the thing is that our world needs more people that just give to others. Okay, I mean, just imagine how good it feels. Okay, when you give. Okay, and when I'm saying about giving, I'm not saying donating money. I mean, you could donate money if you want, but donating your time means a lot more. Okay, because you got to really take time out of your day. You got to schedule time out of your day. And if you can schedule time out of your day to volunteer, to serve, to do an act of kindness for an individual throughout the day, just imagine if each person in our world did just one act of kindness a day, just one. Imagine how that would make our world and society much different. Okay, and when the answer would be, it would be much different. And and the thing is, you just at the end of the day, you want to be the best version of yourself. You want to go ahead and just improve on yourself each and every day, and you really, really just want to have that positivity in you. There's a lot of negativity. Heck, all you gotta do is turn on the TV, okay, to whatever stations you want to, and you can see all kinds of negativity on the TV and stuff and everything. But you have got to tune that out. Tune out the negativity, block the negativity, and replace it with positive vibes, positive affirmations, positive things that will filter your mind, your body, your spirit with a lot of positive infusions. That's what you got to do with our world society, with the way it is. You've got to go ahead and do that. You've got to be able to block off that negativity when it comes. And so just being there for our fellow citizens and just helping people out. I mean, if there's like elderly people next to you and you know that they are elderly and they might need some help or assistance, why not go ahead and offer, say, hey, can I help you with your yard? Can I help you with something or whatever? And when if they say no, then at least you offered, you were generous and kind. But just go ahead and just be generous, kind, show acts of kindness, and just show love, compassion. Find ways to go ahead and to do that each and every day. And I am big time on, positive vibes and just really going ahead and, just being the best version of yourself and and serving others, giving to others. Because, there's no greater gift in life than to serve and give to others, whether it's time, monetary, whatever it may be, just doing an act of kindness. So.
No, and I appreciate that, Matt, and I appreciate that a lot. It's we all met each other through, acts of kindness, right? We met each other through let's help each other out. Let's, come on the show. It takes nothing to say hello at an ACC kickoff, to sit down and have lunch together, then to say, hey, let's get you on the show and have those conversations. And then you look years later at friendships that literally started from somebody just saying, hey, you seem like a nice person. How are you? You want to sit and eat lunch with me? So
I think I invited you to the media thing, Dan. I think we had a media event.
Yeah, you did. I never go to the media party thing because I was like, I'm not I'm not trying to just kind of go to this thing, whatever. And you guys had asked me a couple of years ago. You're like, hey, do you want? And that's when I met Carl and Bud. And I think I met Bud there, or I'd known him a little bit before. But you were like, yeah, you guys, you should come out to the party. And I wasn't gonna, and I came out because you invited me. And it was a nice rooftop experience. The food was good. I ended up having a really nice night in Charlotte, and that came from the kindness from you. And Ewan was there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that experience of like Ewan came. He's like, DT. He's like, you gotta come. So it's because of you guys that I came out to that and your invitation. So yeah, I mean, a little goes a long way. You know that.
Yeah. What did it?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, Dane, and I agree with you, and a little does go a long way. And just like what you said, when we're at those media days and stuff, it does not take much just to say, "Hey, how's your day going? How's the event going and stuff?" And the conversation can lead into other stuff, saying, "Hey, do you want to come on our show and stuff and everything?" So, just and you just invite them, you put the invitation out there, and it's up to them if they want to come on or not. Right. But what I would like for all the viewers and listeners to do right now, take out a sheet of paper and what I want y'all to do is write down this thing. I want you to write down what is at least one way that you're going to serve or give every day. So write down that question and then write down your response.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Thank you, Dane.
No, I appreciate that, man. And, Matt Trecanelli here with us on the line. And so you don't see him on the screen, but you can hear him here. Tremendous there. The question, once again, what is one way that you're going to help people every day? What's one way that you're going to serve others every day? Write down the question and write down your answer. And whether that's opening a door, every single day, opening a door for somebody else, or if it's saying hello when you're walking down the street to a stranger, if it's smiling, if it's, there's certain things, there's cool things that happen, and there's these chain reaction things that happen. And I remember one of them happened recently in Syracuse, in my hometown, is that somebody went to Dunkin' Donuts and they were like, hey, whoever's behind me, I'm going to pay for them. And so that person got up to the window and they're like, oh, you already paid for it. And they're like, all right, I got the next one. And then it kept going. And it was just like this line of people that how long can we keep these cars going where everybody was just getting everybody. And you go up to the window and it's like, yeah, well, you got something that's $8. It's like that person just bought a bunch of stuff for their kids. It's going to be like 20 something bucks. And I don't care. I got the next one. I got the next one. And it was this chain reaction. And so when people say, like, how do I know that doing something good in the world is going to help anybody? I can tell you flat out of an example like that, where one person doing something nice was this chain reaction that made somebody else want to do it, that made somebody else want to do it. And all of a sudden there's this domino effect of all of these people over a span of however many hours that were just trying to help out the next person. It started with one person saying, I'm going to do this. And it turned into an event of like, who's going to keep the chain going type of thing.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, it is really cool to see that. And like they say, hate is contagious, but so is love. And, when you spread that
it's like
positivity.
For me, Dan, it's called,
What'd you say?
for all of your listeners and viewers who don't know, I work at a grocery store. I'm around people every day. So it's like, how when I'm a bagger, I always ask them, would you like some help out to your car? Yeah. Sometimes they'll say yes. Sometimes they'll say no. And when I'm a cashier, I always say, thank you. Have a wonderful day and take care. And a lot of times they'll say, thank you, you too. And they'll say, thank you. And I always hold the door open for my fellow employees when I'm at my job. And it's like, and I've had a lot of people compliment me on my smile. And it's like, yeah, I've done this for over 22 years now. Yeah, I've had rough days and I've had good days. But every day is different when I get to my job. because I don't know what can happen on a daily basis. I could see someone I haven't seen in 5 years. I could see someone that I used to see at my old job. So it's like, hey, it's like every day is different for me when I go to my job at the grocery store. Actually, I'm going to work here in a little while, so it's like, do I know what to expect today? Nope. Go in there, smile on my face, positive attitude, and go about my business and leave all the negativity behind me.
That's good. That's a good way, Adam. Yeah. And what my job is, people, I work at Home Depot, and I feel like they try to force people to say hello to people.
Yeah.
It should come naturally.
Yeah.
Why do you have to worry about what percentage? We have this thing called get, okay, at work. I mean, it's like greet and everything else. And it's got these managers are like, oh, we were 42% today. Why do we care if we're 42%? If you come to work and if you have a great day at work, just say hello to somebody. Hi. Why do you need to be voted on what if you say hello to somebody? That's, to me, that's like you're forcing somebody you probably had a bad day at work, at home, or a bad day at school, and you're coming to work and you're trying to have a positive rest of your day. And I don't need somebody to force something on somebody. Just let it come naturally.
Yeah.
And if it works, if it comes out naturally, it'll be fine. If it doesn't come out, why do we care if it's 42% today? I don't care. I want to come to a store, and you, all four of you know this. You want to come to a store feeling like this is a great place to shop, not coming in and being forced, by employees going, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Every time you walk by, that's like a fake hello.
Right. Well, and there's a thing that I'll leave the company unnamed, but there was when I was working for this one company, they said they wanted us to say "Have a magical day." And I said, that doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth. Like, that's not me. And I think, and I mean, I joke around about this, but I'm like, being Hispanic and Italian, I'm like, how am I supposed to, I was like, that doesn't sound right coming out of, hey, have a magical day. You know what I mean? Like, that just it doesn't seem right coming from me. So I was like, I'm going to say what I want to say. Like, I'm going to say, hey, whatever in the moment. Have a good day. Congratulations on your wedding and this and that. Congratulations on your anniversary. But
Right.
you got to be natural. You got to be normal. I understand why companies do it. Like, going off your point, Chris, I understand that company says, hey, let's be nice to people. Let's greet people, because people will always remember that. You'll go into a million stores and somebody says hello to you and you forget it. But when you go into a store and nobody greets you and nobody says hello to you, and you walk by the person at the front door and you walk by another person and another person, you're standing in the electronics area, nobody's helping you, and they're standing right there, you will remember that. You'll remember the people that didn't say hello. So I understand a business's desire to want you to do that, but it's also sad in our society that a company has to say to their workers, to their staff, you have to say hello. That should be a natural thing. It
Right.
should be more weird for you to have a person walk by your face, look at you in the face, and you just go, dead stare. You go, I go. Who's going to beat each other? Like, you should say hello. You should just, it should be a normal thing. Now, down in the South, when you walk down the street, people go, hi, how are you? And they smile, and you go, hi, how are you?
Yep,
But
that's
in
right.
Syracuse, in my hometown, I'll go take my dog for a walk, and I'll be walking around, and it's funny because, like, there'll be like a girl walking her dog, I'm walking my dog, and I don't know if some of these men and women out here think that everybody's hitting on them, because it ain't like that. But I see somebody walking toward me, and I'm thinking, okay, my normal nature as a human being is to be nice and say hello. So I look at her, I'm walking Lily, she's walking her dog, I go to say hello, she turns her head and she just starts by, and I was like, bro, no one's trying to flirt with you. I'm just here to say hello. That's all I'm here for. Like, nobody's trying to pick you up, don't be to me that's so, like, to me that's annoying, because when I see somebody, man or woman, I'm going to say hi. I'm going to say, hi, how you doing? I feel weird when I don't. So when people told me, like, go to New York City, when you get on the subway, don't look at anybody in the eye, don't smile, look straight at the ground. it is the most uncomfortable thing for me to do to go to New York City on the subway, because my nature, my heart is when I see someone to say hello or to smile. Right. So when they're like, go on the subway and pretend like you hate everybody and just look at the ground. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. But then when you engage some people on the subway, and I want to tell you guys this really quick, you know the Hugs drinks, right? So those little juice, they're like 100% sugar. So this guy comes out of the subway. I kid you not. He comes on the subway. He's got and this is the thing. It's like the subway stopped. Nothing's going on. He comes out with a big green suitcase. Subway starts to go, puts the suitcase on the ground, unzips it. And he goes, hey guys, I got everything you need. Got all your drinks right here. I got blue raspberry. Now he's showing us these drinks that look like they've been packaged and never been opened, which is terrifying. So he goes, I got blue raspberry. I got cherry. He's like, I got white surprise. I got brown drink. And I was like, I know that Hugs did not make a brown colored drink. Like, I know.
No.
But, so the thing is, on the subway, if you look him in the eye, he's like, I see my man right there. He's eyeing the brown. Come and get the brown drink. And I'm like, no. I saw a fly. There's a fly. Went by your face. I saw it. And I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at the fly. So I just look at the ground. I put music on. But I literally apologize to God all the time. I'm like, God, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean to these people. I get sick to my stomach because in New York City, you're supposed to be a jerk. But if you're on a subway where they give you the natural Hug flavors of blue raspberry, orange cherry, and then white surprise and brown drink, he was like, I got Long Island iced tea. I'm like, I know that that's not a children's flavor. I know that.
No.
But,
yeah, I'm from New York, and I know what you're talking about because I went on the subway a couple times, and you don't look at anybody on the subway.
Yeah.
And I agree with you because there's a lot of weirdos on that subway. It's like and they get off the subway and they start yelling at each other like, "Come on, man, what are you doing?" Like what are you doing? Like we don't need to fight. But don't get the brown surprise. That's the the 7 train going to Willard Point. That's the crap underneath the tire.
I was like, man, and I was looking at the brown one. And I'm going, this looks like it was packaged. And how did this man seal this like it had never been opened before? And then nobody bought any of his drinks. And he zipped it up and got off at his stop. And he was like, all right. He's like, screw all of y'all. Y'all are missing out. And I was like, I don't think we are. But I appreciate your entrepreneurship. I just feel like white surprise and brown drink and Long Island iced tea are not the way to lead the way. But before we get out of here, Adam, I'm going to go back to you here. We talked about ACC. We talked about some order finish, whatnot. What is your favorite part of covering the ACC? You get to go to the ACC kickoff. You get to be around it. What do you love about being there when all of the teams converge on Charlotte, North Carolina from all over the country?
Well, for me, after watching the ACC basically all my life, living in New Hampshire, now living in North Carolina, there's so much history. You think about the years when Florida State came into the ACC. Think about the years when Virginia Tech joined, Miami, Boston College, and I mean, there's so much history here in the conference. We know about the rivalry with Florida State and Miami. We know about the other teams as well. And Enter the Sandman at Lane Stadium in Virginia Tech. Everyone knows that. You know about the legendary Bill Campbell Stadium at Florida State, how crazy it can get. It doesn't matter if it's on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. And the players in this conference that, come out, we know about Miami quarterback Ken Dorsey, who was with the Bills and now he's not. We know about Jameis Winston and the year he had when he was in Tallahassee. We think about NC State in North Carolina, and obviously Duke. That's the research triangle park right there. Wake Forest has always had a really good history. Syracuse, Yeah, we know they recently joined, but Syracuse has had a tremendous history of sports in general. We know about we know about football. There's also men's, women's lacrosse, and basketball. So I enjoy covering the ACC. There's so much history in this conference, and uh, looking forward to seeing how Cal and Stanford, SMU do in their inaugural year.
Yeah.
Could be a quite interesting year.
Yeah, no, for sure. Matt, if you're still on the line with us here, what are you most excited about here for 2024-25 for the ACC?
Um, well, I am. Well, first off, first and foremost, with that conversation we had a little like a few minutes ago, I loved it. I can talk about that all day long, you know. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Dan. But answering your question, I'm just most excited for the new teams. Well, the new teams that are coming in, Cal, Stanford, and SMU. And you know what? I have a massive prediction to make.
Okay.
I think it's going to be number one, Florida State, number two, Clemson, but number three, I think is going to be SMU. That's who I think is going to be in third. That is I mean, again, not many people might predict that, but they have proven year after year that they are underdogs, that they can perform, and they got that underdog mentality. So they're not going to finish number one, but I think that they can go ahead and finish number three. But I'm just looking forward to the new teams come in, how that's going to go ahead and improve the conference, how that will go ahead and just improve it, enhance it, and just I'm really excited to see how Florida State's going to play, how Clemson will be playing this year, and how the new teams where they came in to the conference, how they perform.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and I love, I'm pleasantly surprised that the people covering the ACC like yourself, Matt, are high on SMU. I when I put them in my top 10, I was thinking, are people going to think I'm crazy? I mean, I don't care at the end of the day. My predictions are my predictions. I don't care what other people think about them. But when I did this before the ACCs came out and before what you just said, I did not anticipate that people were going to be riding with me. I didn't anticipate that people were going to be having them higher. The fact that there is this belief in SMU makes me really super excited. Makes me want to text Rhett Lashley right now and go, hey man, like at least you got a nice warm welcome. But I mean, he's the type of he's going to go out there and put that to work, and he's going to say whatever they think we are, we still need to figure out who we are, and we need to be who we are. They can think whatever they want to think, but we got to be who we are. Rhett is a tremendous coach. The team has great student athletes, especially in recent history, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But the fact that the media is down with the Mustangs like that makes me feel good, man. I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. I couldn't be there on the first day because I was down in Texas with the AAC where Rhett used to be. And so him and I did our special beforehand. So we talked, and that aired on the Monday of the ACC kickoff. So when he was out seeing you guys, he was also, his feature was on the show that morning on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. So I'm happy that we get to talk as always. But tremendous coach, awesome guy, super excited for the team. Preston Stone. I'm just happy that the team is like in the radar of ACC media people. So it's good to hear that they didn't go, oh, SMU 17. You know what I mean? It's nice to know that. They did that to Stanford, unfortunately, but what'd you say, Adam?
SMU is no joke.
So
it's
Chris,
called,
sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned their coach and their quarterback, Dan. They're used to playing intense games. In their first game against Florida State, Gerald Ford Stadium, I said it was sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll say it again. Don't be surprised if this game comes down to the last play, last minute, last second. I mean, we could see a shootout in Dallas that day, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, how cool would it be? I mean, even if we got, I don't know, ESPN College Game Day to Dallas, for this game, and I mean, and I'll say this now. I will give you my ACC football championship prediction. I am going. I am going with Florida State. I'm going with the Miami Hurricane in Charlotte in December. We've talked, Chris and I, and Matt have talked about this a lot on our show. How we think that it's never happened.
Yeah.
I think this year it happens. I really do. After what I saw from Coach Cristobal and quarterback Cam Ward in Charlotte, I think this is the year. Half the stadium will be garnet and gold. Half the stadium will be green and white. And in the end, yeah, you know who I'm picking to win the ACC football championship, Dan.
Yeah.
I've got it right with the Florida State Seminole.
Yeah, and a lot of people are. Chris, you get the final word here as we have Chris Heidel, Adam Lemerise, and Matt Cecchinelli here on the broadcast from HerbFM Sports Radio on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Being at the ACC kickoff, you've gotten to do it for many years, Chris, and you've gotten to represent your show and represent what you do and how you do it. So just what it means to you to be at the ACC kickoff, to be one of those people that gets to tell the story from on-site, on location in Charlotte. I know it means a lot to you. I know you work hard, and I know that you are doing your research of teams all around the Atlantic Coast Conference. So just what that experience has been like and what it means to be able to rep your own show on-site, on location in Charlotte.
Well, it means a lot to me. I can do it with Adam and I did it from our hotel, and we had over close to 100 people tuning in both days for live, on 2 shows. And also for me, it's cool because being a Florida State fan, growing up watching Florida State since I was 9 years old when they played in the Blockbuster Bowl against Joe Pa and Penn State, and Bud covered that game, and he told me the story about that Joe Paterno was not a nice guy. But you'll ask Bud all those stories. He's full of Florida State information. And then knowing that Miami's also in our league, and my brother Will was a big Miami Hurricane fan since he was like 3 or 4 years old, and I hear the noise every year at this time of year. Oh, we have the 5th best tight end in the country coming down the Coral Gables. I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. Okay. And then I said to him, and with Cam Ward, yeah, my brother Will was so highly excited that Cam Ward came to Miami.
Yeah.
Because there's no quarterback in Miami since Brad Kaya, that's been there. Van Dyke kind of fizzled out. He went to Wisconsin. I think he's going to need more cheese in Wisconsin than playing football. And then you have over the years and having Miami in the conference.
Yeah.
It gives me an opportunity to talk Miami football, and talk to the team I don't root for, but I have to act like I have to be neutral. I have to be like, okay, this is a team I don't like, but I have to act like I care, because we're all in the media. We're all in the media. We have to care about that.
That's right.
Yeah, but when you get off the mic, then I can start talking trash. Because
Mario Cristobal is going to put this in his locker room. He's going to put this quote: I have to act like I care when I'm in the media, and when I'm off the air, I can start talking trash." He's going to put that up there. HerbFM Sports Radio, Florida State, Miami.
I like it.
And Mario's a nice coach, and and I'm trying to get him to help my brother Will out, because my brother Will's not doing really well. And I gave him, and I told him last year he was supposed to send my brother some stuff. He's a big Miami Hurricane fan. He goes, did your brother get anything? I'm like, no. He goes, do you have a business card? And I go, yeah. He goes, what size does he take? I'm like, a large. I said, he's 2 sizes thinner than me, Mario. Take a look at it. He's like, oh, okay. So if it works out, that's great. If you can help my brother out, with stuff to make him positively happy, like we always do on our show.
Yeah.
We all have a happy place, and that'll be a great thing for him. So I'm going to follow up, next week or so and see what's going on. Because right now he's in practice. I don't want to bother him. He's getting ready for the Gators, and I got to deal with that. My other brother is a Gator fan, so I got to deal with him. Yeah.
I have to deal. Hey, wait a minute, Chris. I have a manager who I work with. She's a diehard Gator fan, so it's like so it's like I get it because I can talk Florida State, and it's like yeah, it's like she doesn't want to hear it, and I don't want to hear about Florida, so I get what you're going through.
Yeah, and I don't like seeing the chop every time I'm going down the
I
down the
have to
gate.
see it, Chris. It's called. I see it at work, so I get it. I get it. I get it.
And
I
also,
get it as
yeah,
well.
also you got to see this thing too, like the U, just turn it upside down. Yeah.
I'll do this. I'll do this.
So I want to make a note here on the show. A Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora does not sponsor, identify, or support the opinions of the rest of the people on the camera right now. Mario Cristobal, you're always welcome on the show. And
Yeah,
Miami
you're
Hur-
always welcome.
and
Yeah,
the Miami
you're always
Hurricanes.
welcome to come on our show,
Yeah,
Coach.
the Canes. No, I've spent a good amount of time with Jim Larinaga on the men's basketball side. So,
Oh, he's great. He's a great guy. He's
I
a great
just
coach.
I just want to make note here that Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora does not support or endorse the opinions of Christopher I. Heidel and Adam Lemerise on today's episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Thank you.
Coach,
You guys are
Thank you.
Florida State fans, so I mean you're gonna hate. I mean that's just reality. So
Hey,
Yeah,
Larinaga,
that's right.
Dan,
Dan.
I saw Coach Larinaga when he was at George Mason back in the day when he was in the CAA, and he took that school and took him all the way to the NCAA to the Final Four.
Yeah.
That guy knows
I
how to
remember
coach.
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
and I was so happy that he got the job in Miami because he needed a big job. Because being in Fairfax, Virginia, is not the greatest place to be, for basketball. It's like,
And I am excited, like I told you guys earlier this week on HerbFM. It is literally 22 years to the day of the year, to the day of the week. Saturday, November 30th, 2002 is the last time Miami came to the Dome. They'll be coming to the Dome, last regular season game this season, Saturday, November 30th, 2024. And the sick, crazy schedule. I mean, when you don't know what the scheduling was like in the ACC, I only got to paint the picture with one example. Syracuse has been in the ACC for over a decade, and they've only played Miami one time.
Jeez.
One time in over 10 years. And that was down in Miami, and they lost that game on the road. Miami's never been to the Dome since both teams were in the ACC, and it's been over 2 decades since they played each other in the Dome, and I believe back in 2002, it was Big East. So this is the first time they're going to play in the Dome as both ACC teams, and only the second time in over a decade in the ACC together that they'll even play each other. That shows you how crazy the scheduling is. Syracuse has played Duke numerous times, but they have not played Miami more than one time in over a decade. Thanks to the new scheduling, that is going to change. Miami's going to be in the Dome a few times here in the not-too-distant history as they've scheduled out to 2030 for ACC home and away opponents for each school. But that's pretty crazy.
I hope that game's not 12 noon, Dan.
Wait.
That would be really stinky. I think that should be like 7:30.
Yeah, we got a lot of night games.
That game should be primetime ABC Sports with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast talking about this rivalry. And it's almost a week after my birthday, so hey, I'll take it.
I will tell you, and I said this before, there should be a sellout crowd at that game. To everyone who saw Miami the last time they were in the Dome, to everyone who was upset when Miami left the Big East, to those that consider Miami leaving the Big East to be the beginning of the end of Big East football, that game has a lot around it, a lot of emotion, a lot from me, So I will say, on November 30th, 2024, on that Saturday, y'all have something to do. You got somewhere to be. That is in Syracuse, New York, at the JMA Wireless Dome whatever time that game is going to be, get yourself out to that game. Syracuse, Miami, there is more on that line. This is Big East history. This is disrespect. There's a lot on this line that goes far beyond 2024. To Fran Brown, it might just be the next game. But to Syracuse fans, to people like me in 2002 when I was, 17 years old, 16 years old, going back to these games, I was 17. Going back to these games and these moments, it is imperative that you get yourself out to that Miami game. And I know well enough on my own show to not do any symbols. But when I'm in the comfort of my own home, I might be wearing, all I'm saying is I might be wearing a shirt under my work shirt Saturday, November 30th, 2024. And Mario,
I know where you're going, Dan.
For that day, Mario, forgive me. But these gentlemen that just did the U down, Mario, 2/3 of the screen did it. The other 33% did not. So Mario, just know. But see, you guys, that's Florida State, Miami. I understand that. Florida State, Miami, the Florida Gators, UCF, US. I get it. South Florida. I get all that. FAU. I understand in the state of Florida how it is. But to Chris Heidel, to Adam Lemerise, to Matt Trecanelli here on the phone, I appreciate you all. HerbFM Sports Radio. Go and watch them. Go find them on social media. Gentlemen, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you welcoming me into your lives and giving me a seat at the table. Means a lot to me. So your goodness, your kindness has gone a long way. And you guys stepped out in a world that most of the media don't. So the kind-hearted, good people in the media, I love supporting them and putting them out here. So to Chris, Adam, and Matt, y'all are good ones. I appreciate that. And I send you and your families my love. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.
Oh, you too. Yeah. And enjoy the rest of the week. And before I go, I think the last time you said Miami played Syracuse in the Dome. Did you watch that game?
I believe, it was. I know it was a horrible game.
Yeah, no, that was back when they actually had Ken Dorsey as quarterback.
Yeah. No,
that guy never lost the game.
Yeah, Miami was like there was times where they were pulverizing the Big East. And
they own the Big East. Yeah. And my brother was like, "We're the Big East." I'm like, "Okay, well, why are you playing in the Big East then?" Yeah, and like moved to a different.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope. Yeah. No. It's gonna. Hopefully, it'll be a good game and fun for the fans, especially the fans that remember 2002. If you don't, go on YouTube and check it out, folks. Thank you guys for joining the show. God bless as always. I will talk with you all soon, and have yourselves a great day.
You too. Have a good one.
And now,
well, God bless Dan. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dan. See you soon, dude.
Thank you. Take care. That coming.
I'll see you soon, guys.
See you all. Thanks, Adam. That coming here from the wonderful gents that we have here with us from HerbFM Sports Radio. And, of course, we're going to take a step aside. Papa Joe's coming up next in hour number 2 here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. And a big-time welcome to our newest partner and our first wake-up call partner in the state of North Carolina, and that being the Brooklyn Pickle in Pinehurst.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience, it's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servamation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machines, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean-to-cup coffee machines. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you hanging out with us inside of the Heritage Hill studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Always appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's Thursday, which means that Papa Joe is in the building with us here, I should say on the line, here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as PJ joins us to talk about Major League Baseball. The trade deadline just happened earlier this week on Tuesday, July 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that, it locked up any trades from being done here. But there was some that came in the 11th hour, and there were some that came in over the span of the last couple weeks here. PJ was off last week as I was traveling with the AAC kickoff and the ACC kickoff for college football. PJ is back with us, speaking on the baseball moves made ahead of the 2024 MLB trade deadline, all inside of the Heritage Hill studios. Papa Joe, good to have you back. How we doing?
Oh, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I'm glad you got everything done on your trips. I tried to do as much homework as I could. I got my information here for the American League and National League standings and who's hitting what and who's pitching what. So that's where I'd like to start.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. We're here in the second half of the season. PJ and I spoke right after the All-Star break about teams that are going back into obviously the whole Major League Baseball, all 30 franchises coming off of the All-Star break officially went into part number 2. Now, it's not an exact science mathematically in the sense of there's not 81 games break and then 81 games. We're in a situation where some teams played more than others going into the All-Star break, but now we're officially into the second half, and PJ, as he always does, providing for us an entire scope of Major League Baseball division by division, letting us know where teams are at as we edge closer to the postseason, knowing that a lot of these series now, especially within division, have potential huge implications for the wild card, as there's teams that are trying to saddle up inside of the division and see if they can win their division, and obviously trying to at least lock up a wild card bid for teams like the Mets and the Diamondbacks and the AL East in general, trying to figure that out between the Orioles and the Yankees and if anybody else can show up. There was a flash sale with the Tampa Bay Rays getting rid of a bunch of guys, getting a lot of deals that are going on. Randy Arozarena is gone, and of course one of their guys, Adam, that Jason Adam, one of their pitchers that I had interviewed last season, he's now gone. So, PJ, let's jump into what the league looks like right now in Major League Baseball, and then we'll get into some of the moves.
Okay, Dan. Start with the American League, which is Baltimore is really putting on a show. They are really playing good baseball. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. I think they're probably the best team in the American League. Although the Yankees are only half a game behind, still looking for some solidarity in their pitching, and they need a few bats. Detroit for Jazz Chisholm, I guess, is going to turn out real good for them. I'll get to that later because I don't think he's the kind of player that has, on the long haul, is worth it. Boston's 7 games behind. When they're trying to sneak around, they're lurking. Baltimore and New York, if they keep battling back and forth, Boston's got a shot to sneak in there. Possible. In the Central Division, we got Cleveland at 65-42. Minnesota and Kansas City are 6 behind. I still like Kansas City in this division, maybe because Bobby Witt is hitting the heck out of the ball. He's actually carrying them. In the West, we got Houston at 56-52. Seattle 57-53. That's a flat-footed tie right now. I still like Houston to take over this division. Texas is 4.5 games behind. All 3 of these teams are eligible for everything. Houston is the better team. I'm not sure that they can rise to the occasion, but I still like them to win this division. Average-wise, we got Bobby Witt is hitting .349 at this late in the year. Unbelievable. Stephen Kwan from Cleveland's hitting .332. Aaron Judge is hitting .316. The reason I put Judge in there is because he's got 39 home runs and 99 RBIs, which really leads the American League in everything. He's a sensational player this year. I got him as a sort of like a tepid Major League Baseball most valuable player this year. There are some others players, but if he keeps going and carry the Yankees, then he deserves it all. Grayson Rodriguez has 13 wins from Baltimore. He leads in wins. ERA tanks schoolball. Detroit is pitching at 2.35 ERA. Emmanuel Class from Cleveland has 33 saves, far more than anyone else. In the National League, we got Philly 65-43. They're the class of the National League. Atlanta 6.5 behind, and the Mets, who I really had put a shovel to the dirt and buried them a month ago. They're 8 behind. Their last 10 games, they're 7-3. They're creeping up. They're hitting. They're pitching better. They got a shot to make it in the postseason. I just didn't think that they had it, but yeah, I could be wrong. In the Central Division, we got Milwaukee at 61-47. St. Louis, Pitt, Cincinnati, and Chicago Cubs are all lumped in there together. Someone's going to have to break out to give Milwaukee a run for their money. In the West, we got LA at 63-46. We got San Diego 4.5 behind, and Arizona is 5 behind. San Diego is 9-1 in their last 10 games. They've really crept up the leaderboard. Yeah. Arizona was 7-3 in their last 10 games. So I like both of these teams to keep putting pressure on the Dodgers. Dodgers are the best team, period. But, stranger things happen, that's for sure. And the average-wise, Ohtani's hitting .309. San Diego now has Arias. He's hitting .308. Ohtani has 32 home runs. Marcell Ozuna has 31 from Atlanta. RBIs. Ozuna's got 84. Ohtani's got 76. Ohtani is another tepid choice for the most valuable player in the National League. I don't think he may not pitch again, Daniel. I'm not sure that they can afford to keep him out of the lineup for any time soon. So I don't think they can hit him while he's pitching. I don't know what they do with that. They got a big decision with this guy, especially if they're gonna win the division. Chris Sale of Atlanta's got 13 wins. He's also leads in ERA with a 2.71. This was an absolute steal for Atlanta. When Sale was with Boston, he was floundering. And he's a wicked left-handed pitcher. And he fell into a good situation at Atlanta, and it's working out great for them. Ryan Helsley from St. Louis has 33 saves. He's far and away more than anyone else in the league. So that gives a rundown there of where everyone is right now. We do have some some interesting races coming up here, and each week as it goes by, we'll keep updating everything until we come up with a plan.
Yeah, and when we look at this, like you said, I mean, one of the things that's been happening, and you and I talked about this earlier on in the season, PJ, is that the Phillies and the Yankees. I put out a poll on our former Twitter. X is what it's called now, folks. At CallDT, that's CALLDT. I put out a poll there of, if you had to choose right now, who do you think would win the division, or who do you think would win the World Series, Yankees or Phillies? And that back and forth was interesting here. The Yankees are currently a half a game behind the Orioles in the AL East at 65 and 45. The Phillies are currently 6.5 games ahead of the Braves, who they've been ahead of for a long time, with a record of 65 and 43. So they're 65 and 43. The Yankees are 65 and 45. Same amount of wins, but the Yankees have 2 more losses. The thing is here, when you look at the Yankees, they just had a series against the Phillies in Philadelphia and swept them in the series 3-0, winning 14-4, 7-6, and 6-5. Because we've talked about the Yankees, Phillies, and the potential, PJ, of this being the 2024 World Series, what are your thoughts on recently here, Yankees, Phillies, who some consider to be the best 2 teams in baseball this season, that head-to-head, the Yankees handled the Phillies 14-4 and then showed that they can outdo them in a close-run game, not once but twice, 7-6 and 6-5.
Well, you've heard me talk about the big 3 from Philly, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and Ranger Suarez. Those guys, just as much as a couple of weeks ago, were actually leading the National League in wins and ERA, a bunch of them. But they're falling. Look, one thing about baseball is if you're a team and you're facing a stud like Aaron Nola, and you meet him the first time, he beats you pretty good, and then maybe the next time they come around, well, you're a little bit more comfortable with them, and they start hitting them. That's what happens when teams see a pitcher more than once or twice or 3 times in a season, especially when in their own division. This was a surprise. I really was surprised about that. I haven't been following it too much in the last couple of days because of what we had going on, but those guys got hit pretty hard. And the Yankees picked up a good move with Chisholm. So that was a big surprise. And I look for them to come back and dominate again. I still like Philadelphia. I still like Philadelphia, period. I still like Philadelphia and Baltimore for the whole thing, but it's too early to say that.
Yeah, and for you, PJ, I mean, when we look at some of these teams, if we look at the wild card right now, and the standings for the 2024 wild card. I mean, this is something that is followed throughout the season. If we look at it right now in this moment, the teams that are in position for this, if it ended today, believe it or not, it wouldn't be the Yankees leading the American League. The number 1 team in the American League, the 1 seed, would be the Cleveland Guardians, followed by the Orioles and the Astros. The wild card would be the Yankees, the Twins, and the Royals, who have stepped up and done some good things this season. We've talked about them. In the National League, the Phillies would be the number 1 seed, followed by the Dodgers and the Brewers. The wild card would be the Braves, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks, which means that the National League West, if the playoffs started today in Major League Baseball, the National League West would have 3 of their 5 teams in the playoffs, the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks. The Mets are just outside by a half a game. What are your thoughts on this, Paul? It is Braves, Padres, Diamondbacks, and your thoughts on the fact that the National League West would have 3 of 5 teams in the postseason.
Well, they've been playing good ball. I know Arizona got out to a real slow start, but they picked it up here the last couple of weeks, and none of these, what you're talking about, none of these divisions are actually settled yet.
Yeah.
It must be brought to everyone's attention that there are pennant races going on daily. Baltimore, New York, you won't be able to have any separation between these two. The Central Division, Cleveland, Minnesota, KC, any one of those three can win a division. In Houston, boy, that's a mess right there. That is a mess, and you got to play. You got to play to win. Philly, I think this division is over with. I think Philly will continue to shine. Atlanta they got the hitting and they got Chris Sale pitching really good, but they don't have what Philly has. Although Philly would get shocked, but I like that. Milwaukee, their division's not over. All 5 of these teams are in. Milwaukee's got the better team. They got a better record, but the other teams are dangerous and can jump up at any time. In L.A., you mentioned the 3, L.A., San Diego, and Arizona. Last night, Clayton Kershaw came out and pitched, I think, for the first time since he got back on, and San Diego just ripped him. He gave up 7 runs, although only 3 of them were earned because he had some errors behind him, including one he made on a throw at first base. So they need Kershaw. They really do. And they need Walter Buehler. But neither one of these guys are pitching up to their potential. I'm not even sure that Buehler's going to be back again this year after his second rotator cuff surgery. So the divisions are tightly run, and I like that because my formula is that you win divisions with pitching and defense, and I'm not going to waver from that. And I really believe that pitching and defense can win any one of these 6 divisions that we've been talking about.
Yeah, and when you look at this, I mean, some of these are the usual suspects, right, PJ? I mean, when we look at some of these teams, I mean, the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Brewers, them leading their divisions, not a surprise, right? But the Houston Astros and the Baltimore Orioles, keep in mind, last year were the number 1 seed in the American League, and they are currently leading their division. The Cleveland Guardians and the Houston Astros are 2 I want to take a look at. The Cleveland Guardians, what's your take on this? Because when we spoke about the Central divisions in recent history, AL Central, NL Central, we said that these were more of the weak division. And I don't want to say that. The East Division and the West divisions seem to be providing teams that were separating themselves, right? Where the Guardians and some of these other teams in the Central world, it wasn't about separation with a ton of wins. It was about who's going to win this division where nobody really has a great record. So do you believe in the Guardians? Do you think that they've done enough at this point, now that we're over 100 games in for them, 107 at the time that we're talking? So 2-part question. Are the Guardians for real coming out of their Central Division in the American? And then the Houston Astros, the second part of my question is, you have stated throughout the year that they were going to eventually wake up, and they're leading their division right now. So what are your thoughts on the Guardians? Are they for real? And then what are your thoughts on the Astros doing what you said they were going to do, which is eventually wake up?
Well, Cleveland has been playing good ball all year long, and they deserve their ranking. And I think you're correct in saying that. They're hitting, they're led by Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez, who is a sensational player. He doesn't get the kind of respect that the other sluggers in the league do. Every year, Ramirez has over 20 home runs and over 100 RBIs. Every year, pretty close to it. And he doesn't get the consideration for the most valuable players. They will win and lose besides what Ramirez does. Now, their pitching is a little shaky, but if you got a guy who's hitting 330-something like Juan, you got Ramirez is always hitting, I think he's got 27 homers and 82 RBIs or something like that. I mean, he will carry the team. If Juan is as good as he is, and I think he is, because I didn't know much about this guy. We started talking about it earlier in the year. Then he got hurt. Now he come back on again, so he's eligible for the awards because he's got enough at-bats to qualify. But Ramirez is the one that's the stud here and has been for years. So I look for them to just sort of carry Cleveland. The other part of your question, you're right, what I was saying about Houston. Houston just has too many moving parts. I mean, they're too good. I don't know why they got up to such a bad start. Maybe they missed Dusty Baker as the manager. but they got a hell of a team, and it's led by Jose Altuve and Bregman is second, Alvarez is third. Those three guys carried the team. Myself, Kyle Tucker, who's a great player. This is a team that should be and has to be winning more. I know they're 56 and 52, but they've come a long way from where they were. They were something like 15 games below 500. Now they're leading the division. So I look for them to. Last night when Houston pitched and won, Framber Valdez won. And they need him. He's a big stud, and they need him to throw the team on his back and carry it. He's a nasty pitcher and gives them a lot of good innings. Houston is just too good, Daniel. And Seattle is trying. Made some good trades. I think we got a couple players that we can talk about. And Texas is only 4.5 behind. So these three teams are still at it. But I still like Houston.
Yeah, no, I definitely can appreciate that and what Houston's been doing. And like you said, all the positives that they've been bringing to the table and a team that's definitely woken themselves up. So we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we're going to speak on the moves that have been made within this world of Major League Baseball before the trade deadline, which happened this Tuesday, July 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. PJ and I will roll back here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. As always, PJ and I are here with you on a Thursday, having our conversation on the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and appreciate you being here with us in conversation with that and what's going on here, as PJ and I are going to get into some of those moves that have been made in Major League Baseball as we continue our talk here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Heritage Hill studios. And of course, Heritage Hill coming to you in two locations. You could find Heritage Hill by going out to their location on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York, and that location there at Palladino Farms out in the country, and their newest location at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse. Make sure you go out there and check them out at their newest location. We'll be there tomorrow night with CNS Swimming and Diving, and excited to welcome boys and girls swimming and diving out to Heritage Hill North for our live on-site broadcast this Friday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. With that being said, PJ, what are your thoughts on the Major League Baseball trade deadline and some of the things that you circled?
Well, it was a very busy time, and unfortunately I couldn't spend all the time I wanted to because of moving Joe. But I went back and I found a good little website to do this called SpotRack, and it lists the team that acquires the player for whatever, whether it's players be named later or prospects or anything like that. But there were over 50 transactions, and they're not. Most of those are not going to make any difference. However, I just went back and I started at where I thought it was very important to start at, and that's with the July 22nd acquisition that the Arizona got A.J. Puck, a right-handed pitcher, or Miami gets two players I never even heard of. Now, A.J. Puck is not a dynamite player, but he's a very usable right-handed pitcher, and I think Arizona can use him. Start with there, and we can go up. And there's another one, very important one. This is on July 26th. Boston acquired James Paxton, a starting pitcher, and Los Angeles got Moises Bolivar. I don't know who he is either. So Paxton, they get him. Boston gets him on the cheap. So go figure that one. Let me keep going. Here's the most important one. Back in the early times, okay? And Baltimore acquires Zach Eflin, a starting pitcher. Tampa Bay acquires three players I never heard of: Matthew Edsel, Jackson Burmeister, and Matt Horvath, outfielder, pitcher, third baseman. Now, Tampa Bay, along with Chicago White Sox and the Miami Marlins, this is their fire sale every year. They just dump players that they don't want to pay anymore. Zach Eflin is a terrific pitcher, and he makes almost $4 million a year. For Tampa Bay, that's too much money. So he's a dynamite pitcher. He's going to help that rotation even better. And Tampa Bay acquires the three more players. For next year, you see at Tampa Bay, every year it's the same thing. They have two or three players that are up and above, better than anyone else, and they wind up trading them for more prospects. Well, that's frustrating, but congratulations to Zelton. I mean, Zach Eflin, Baltimore required a great pitcher. Let's go to here's the one that everyone's talking about, and that's the Yankees acquiring Jazz Chisholm from Miami. Chisholm plays center field. He can play anything. Miami gets Austin Ramirez, a catcher, Jared Sema, a second baseman, and Abraham Ramirez, a shortstop. I follow the Yankees, and I don't know who these guys are. So they're probably players, not players to be named later, but they're prospects in the system. So here we go again with Chisholm starting out really good, hitting a couple home runs, winning a game, hitting a couple home runs, winning a game again. So he's a dynamite player. I just don't think he hits for average that much. I'm not sure what the Yankees are getting with him. He's a great defensive center fielder, that's for sure. But I think they need him to hit for more average, more than because he's a very fast guy. And when you got a guy like Chisholm, you want to play him, you want to hit him in the beginning of the order so he can get on base and steal bases and get runs behind Judge. This is a big one, Daniel. This is a real big one for the Yankees. Now, the Yankees, of course, are going to need some pitching, but I don't know where that's going to come from. Maybe we'll keep looking at the lineup a little bit later. But Miami getting three more guys to build their. They don't have anyone down in Miami that's worth it, really. I think Arizona got traded too. He got traded to Seattle. That'll be a good one to talk about. But what do you think about Chaz Chisholm?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when we're looking at this and, seeing these guys that, like you said, with Chaz Chisholm or with Jazz Chisholm and where he's at right now, I mean, a lot of these moves have been good, right? And a lot of these moves have put us in places where we're seeing teams that are trying to put themselves in a position to go a little bit farther. The Yankees making moves, the Yankees, as we talked about, have been in a place where they were the best team in baseball record-wise. They were the best team in the American League record-wise. They were the best team in the American League East. Now they don't have the best record in baseball. They're not the top team in the American League East. They're not the top team in their division. So, they're trying to make some moves for the long haul here. And the Miami Marlins were having a fire sale. Miami Marlins getting rid of a lot of players. Tampa Bay and Miami, two teams down in Florida, letting a lot of guys go. And the Marlins got 3 prospects for Jazz Chisholm Jr. going to the New York Yankees. And when we look at Jazz Chisholm here and we look at his statistics up to this point for Jazz, I mean, we look at these recent games against the Phillies. He had, on July 31st, yesterday, he had 1 hit in that game. He had 3 hits in the game before. He had 2 home runs in that game on July 30th on the road against Philadelphia. And we look at, RBIs here. He had 8 RBIs over 3 games against the Phillies recently. So, I mean, when we're looking at Jazz Chisholm and we're looking at what he's been able to do in the most recent history for Jazz, he's obviously brought a lot to them. He's playing at third base for the Yankees. And so, give credit where credit is due here. He has been immediately effective here. He's only played 4 games for the Yankees. And in the 4 games he's played for the Yankees, like I said, 8 RBIs in 4 games, them coming in 2 games against Philadelphia, 3 in one game, 5 in the next from July 29th to July 30th. And he has 4 home runs as a member of the Yankees in 4 games. So I would say it's turned out to be a good move so far. What would you say?
I like it. As I said, he's got to hit for average though. And yeah. I know he plays center field. I don't know why they're sticking him at third base, but they'll figure that out. He'll be plugged in a lineup somewhere. What's more important with Chisholm is that he hits an average, and he's got to be hitting it at the top of the lineup. He's not in the top of the lineup now. I think he's number 5 or 6 in their lineup to play. So I look for him to be at the top of the lineup to get on base to steal, and I still look for him to play center field. Yeah. If we get going, here's another example of Tampa Bay. Chicago Cubs get Isaac Paredes, third baseman.
Yeah.
He's a good player for Tampa. Not a great player, but Tampa Bay winds up with 3 more prospects. Christopher Morrow plays third base, Hunter Biggs, right-hander pitcher, Tyler Johnson, a pitcher. I don't know these guys. Are they prospects? Probably. So, again, we're talking right here, and they've already got six players in Tampa's already. So, and here's another one, right above it. Tampa Bay, first of all, they get Jason Adams, a right-handed pitcher from San Diego. San Diego acquires Jason Adams, I beg your pardon. And Tampa Bay's got Jets, Dylan Lesko, a starting pitcher, Owen Bush, an outfielder, and J.D. Gonzalez, a pitcher. I don't know these guys from San Diego. So that's 6. There's 9 players that Tampa Bay's already got. So, go figure. And that's what they do. Now, the Chicago White Sox are another guys that are going to get players. We're getting close here to the end. We're talking about really, really, really good players. Let's look at this one. Cleveland acquires Lane Thomas, Washington. Lane Thomas, right-hander pitcher. He can be long or short. Makes a little bit less than $2 million a year. Washington acquires Alex Clemmy, a pitcher. Jose Tinez, a shortstop. Rafael Rivera, a shortstop. Don't know who these guys are. They're probably prospects. So there you go. Let's keep going up into the heavy-duty stuff here. Milwaukee surprised me a little bit. They get Frankie Montez, starting pitcher from Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati's still in still in their hunt. I don't know why they would give up a guy like Bennett. My Tenzis makes $4.5 million a year. So Milwaukee's got a guy they got to pay. He's a starting pitcher, so and they need that. Cincinnati gets Jake Junis, right-handed pitcher, who's on their team. Joey Weimer, center fielder, and cash considerations. I mean, you got a guy. Frankie Montez is one of the upper echelon pitchers, and they got him on a cheap. I think they did. Here's the White Sox. Now here's a three-way deal. We got to talk about this one. This happened on July 29th. This one is confusing. If you pull it up and follow with me, we can try to figure it out.
Yeah.
In this particular trade, Chicago acquires Miguel Vargas, an outfielder, Gerald Perez, a shortstop, and Alexandra Albertus, a shortstop. I don't know these places. We go right to St. Louis, who acquires Eric Fed, a starting pitcher, and he's a stud. Tommy Pham, a left-hander, plays left field. He's traded every year at the deadline because he's a good hitter.
Yeah.
Oliver Gonzalez is a pitcher. Now, the third team in this deal, Los Angeles acquires Tommy Edman, who's the key in this whole one. Tommy Edman is a very versatile infielder. He can play any position and even in the outfield. And they get Michael Cornish, a right-handed pitcher. So the deal here is, I'm trying to say, is Edman is the key here. But they had to flim-flam around here a little bit because that had needed to be traded too, along with Tommy Pham. So you got these three teams, and you're dealing with 3, 6, 8, 9 players and 7 players. And that's how these three teams trades work. I don't like them, but Los Angeles like the Dodgers because they got a terrific infielder in Tommy Edman and a good starting pitcher.
And, you see these across multiple sports, right? You don't typically see it in the NFL. I can't really put my finger on the last time I saw, a 3-team deal in the NFL, but you see it in the NBA a lot. So when we look at this, the Cardinals got right-handed pitcher Eric Fed, as well as outfielder Tommy Pham and cash from the White Sox, player to be named later, or cash from the Dodgers. The Dodgers received right-handed pitcher Michael Kopech from the White Sox, infielder, outfielder Tommy Edman, and right-handed pitcher prospect Oliver Gonzalez from the Cardinals. The White Sox received infielder, outfielder Miguel Vargas, as well as infielder prospect Gerald Perez from which is the Dodgers' number 17 prospect, infield prospect Alexander Albertus, which is the Dodgers' number 23 prospect, and a player to be named later, or cash, from the Dodgers. So, I mean, it does get confusing. This website actually broke it down pretty well, which is Major League Baseball's official one. But there's other ones where you're like, what does this mean? And PJ and I were talking off the air about the abbreviations, the acronyms, when they have PTBNL, and you're like, what the hell does that mean? It means player to be named later. You need to spell that out for people, right? Because player to be named later, or cash consideration of what's going to be happening here. But yeah, these 3-team deals are usually somebody wants somebody. In order to get this person, they don't have enough to give that person, so then another team comes in to give that team what they want to give. So if the Cardinals and the Dodgers want to make a move, but the Dodgers are going, hey, we need more, then the Cardinals go, okay, who can we get in? The White Sox are like, all right, we could do this, we can move that, then we'll give this to the Dodgers, this will come to us. So, it does become interesting, like you said, PJ, but, ultimately, typically in these 3-way deals or these 4-way deals, it's because somebody's missing something, so they have to find a third party to help them out, either with cash or with some type of player or prospect that is going to sweeten the deal so that they can get it done.
Right, that's right.
So
further down the line here,
yeah.
July 29th, we got Atlanta. This is a good trade here. This is a straight up trade between the Giants and the Braves. Atlanta gets Jorge Soler, designated hitter, making almost $2.5 million a year. He is a good at bat and a good run driver in. Plus, they get Luke Jackson, right-handed pitcher, a little over $2 million a year. San Francisco acquires Sabine Sabalas as a catcher, Don't know much about him. Tyler Maztek's a right-handed pitcher making a look over $600,000 a year. I think Atlanta got the best of that deal. This is one I really followed too. This is another one, and another acumen here, Daniel. The Marlins again. They give up Josh Bell, Arizona. Arizona gets Josh Bell. Are you kidding me? Josh Bell is a super, super player. He played with Pittsburgh, and then he went to the Generals. Washington Commanders. No, I said football. Anyway, he played for Washington. And Josh Bell is a big man. He's about 6'5", 240. He's a switch hitter, and he plays first base. And he wasn't hitting in Miami the last couple of years as well as I've seen him play. However, Miami acquires 2BD, which is to be determined, right?
Yeah.
They get a stud like Josh, and they don't even know what they're going to get for him. And Arizona's gets a terrific player to play first base or DH. Josh Bell is a stud, a switch hitting slugger that can carry a team. I like that. I like that a lot. Arizona, Daniel.
Yeah, I was excited to see the Josh Bell move, and you saw teams make some moves toward pitching. The Diamondbacks bringing in Puck as a pitcher, and then seeing the Dodgers, who have struggled with their pitching this season, they brought in a bunch of pitchers to try and help themselves out. Are you surprised at all, PJ, with the Tampa Bay Rays? We know that they typically are really, really good at finding talent. Whoever their scouts are, whoever's working on going and finding those diamonds in the rough, they find them. But when they bring them to the Rays and these guys showcase themselves and they show how good they are, they typically leave, right? They leave for more money. In the case of the Rays now, we're seeing them get rid of guys like Jason Adam, who I said, I interviewed last year, one of their pitchers. They got rid of Randy Arozarena. They were in a lot of different moves here before the trade deadline. Are you surprised with this? Are you surprised that the Tampa Bay Rays are, we know that they typically lose talent, right? They find the diamond in the rough, and then they lose that diamond in the rough to a team that is willing to pay whatever amount of money that maybe the Rays are not offering. But in this case, with Randy Arozarena and whatnot, they're letting these guys go in trades. Is Tampa building toward the future with prospects in a positive way? Or what are your thoughts on Tampa? Because to me, they typically will lose their identifier when those faces of the franchise, what I mean by identifier, when that face of the franchise is no longer a diamond in the rough and is somebody who people know, right? It's no longer a non-household name, I should say, not a diamond in the rough. So when they go from non-household to household name, they typically leave for more money. But in these cases, like with Randy, they're trading these guys away. What are your thoughts on what Tampa's doing? Is Tampa letting go of the season? What are your thoughts?
They let go. They do this every year, Daniel. It's not like this doesn't surprise a person that follows baseball.
Yeah.
The three teams in the bottom tier, Chicago White Sox, Tampa Bay, and Marlins, they do this a lot. And this doesn't surprise me at all. But I am surprised that they got him. I don't know what the TBD means. That we'll have to wait to see. But Josh Bell is terrific. A terrific find for Tampa Bay. For Arizona. Let's keep going up the line here and see if we can't. Oh, here's another one. This one. The Giants. Cleveland acquires Alex Cobb, who's a starting pitcher. Makes over $3.5 million a year. Now, Alex Cobb this is a good situation. He used to play with Tampa Bay, and they traded him
to
San Francisco. San Francisco acquires another one, a TBD, to be determined. So Cleveland gets a stud Alex Cobb starting pitcher for a TBD.
Yeah.
I don't understand that one at all. I don't understand that one at all. Let me keep going up the line here. This is a good one. Here's another Miami Dolphin deal. San Diego is going to acquire from Miami Tanner Scott, a right-handed pitcher. Makes almost $2 million a year. He's a stud. He'll pitch every fifth day, no deal. Great pitcher for this situation. And they get Brian Honig as a right-handed pitcher. But in order to get Tanner Scott, Miami acquires Robbie Spelling, a starting pitcher, Adam Mazer, a starting pitcher, Graham Pauley, third baseman, Jay Bashers, second baseman. None of these guys are household names. Don't know a thing about them. And Miami is hoarding just like Tampa Bay or Chicago does. This was a good trade for San Diego to get Tanner Scott. Let's keep going here up. We got some real good ones here coming up. I want to see. Here's one. This is probably the best trade of the trading deadline. This is the one where Los Angeles Dodgers get more pitching as if they don't need anymore. They get Jack Flaherty starting pitching from Detroit. I mean, Flaherty's been around for a long time. He's a hard-nosed pitcher. Gets his innings in. You can count on him. Detroit they run Lozano, a catcher, and Trey Sweeney, a shortstop. Don't know anything about those guys.
Yeah.
Detroit, it's nothing for a starting pitcher like Jack Flaherty. This was a serious one for Los Angeles. This could be the turning point that Dodgers need to keep going forward. If Kershaw is not pitching well, and Walker Buehler is not back yet, and they're not pitching well, Flaherty will step right in. I think this is a key one for the Dodgers.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see as some of these teams like the Yankees, like the Dodgers, trying to give themselves the extra help that they need to push forward into the postseason and try and win their divisions. In the case of the Diamondbacks and some of these other teams making moves, the desire to give themselves a little more oomph as they push toward the wild card and still have a chance of winning their divisions. And, PJ, kind of final note here, the American League East, they were all involved before the trade deadline. Within the last week or so, we saw the entire American League East, every single franchise, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Red Sox, and the New York Yankees, all involved. Not every division had as much movement going on. Are you surprised, not surprised, that the American League East had all 5 of their franchises trying to make moves before the 11th hour in the trade deadline?
This happens every year, Daniel. It always comes down to the last couple of days. The teams, they know what they need. They just have to go out and put feelers out to find out who they want to trade with or who they want. I think that the trade for Chisholm was probably in the works for a long time because, frankly, Miami wanted more for Chisholm. That doesn't surprise me. Here's another. This is a flat up trade right here. Toronto acquires Ryan Yarbrough, starting pitcher, right-handed pitcher. Los Angeles acquires Kevin Kiermaier, center fielder. Kevin Kiermaier makes a little over almost $3.5 million a year. He's a terrific center fielder. He plays all 3 positions. He's fast, and this is a good trade right here for both teams. Toronto gets a really good starting pitcher in Ryan Yarbrough. I want to get some of these the ones that are really important before we sign off.
Yeah.
I guess the Randy Arizona trade to Seattle is a real big one.
Yeah.
With Tampa Bay again, they give up a great hitter who in the middle of the lineup you can count on for home runs and RBIs. He's a good average hitter. Hits for average, hits for everything. And for him to go to Seattle is another drain on Tampa Bay, but they get 1 million guys. So, they're really we just talked about the most important ones. There's other ones, Daniel, that really don't make you don't have to talk about. But these are the ones that were important. The Chisholm one especially, and of course the Randy Arizona, or whatever how he got. Chisholm is the one that's is going to help the Yankees the most.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's going to be good. And the Josh Bell move, too, like you mentioned with the Diamondbacks, I'm very excited about. But a lot of great things coming up here. PJ and I will continue our conversation and coverage of Major League Baseball, as we always do throughout the season and beyond. PJ, as always, I appreciate your time. I know that you're going to go rest now after moving the last 3 days with Joey. So go relax, go have fun, And I look forward to talking with you soon.
Thank you, Dan.
Take care. See you. That coming from Papa Joe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take our final step aside on today's broadcast as we are with you worldwide here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. We appreciate you hanging out with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Under promise, over deliver as we continue the conversation past 11 here this morning inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. We'll take our final step aside and be back right after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thanks for being with us. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student-athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. is with you Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. You can find them on site, on location, right off of Teal Ave in Syracuse on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. I appreciate y'all so very much for going out to GG Cards and Breaks. They have soccer as well as hockey, basketball, baseball, football, all sport, AEW, UFC, as well as Disney, Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic the Gathering. While supplies last, they're constantly getting in singles, graded cards, doubles, and packs. Or pardon me, doubles, I'm saying. Singles and doubles is what I'm saying. So singles, graded cards, packs, and boxes. That's what I meant here. And so I'm out here playing poker. Let it ride. But GG Cards and Breaks, make sure you go out and see them today. And let them know that Wake Up Call sent you, or you could say DT sent me. There's no sports card shop like GG Cards and Breaks because there's no other Josh Gideon or Anthony Campbell and the crew. So thanks to everybody out there. It starts with Josh and Anthony, and it trickles through the team and everything that they do, everything that they have, the excitement that they have. And they're big kids. They're big kids that love cards. They're big kids that appreciate opening things. They love seeing you find the things that you love, and they remember you when you walk through the door. They know the players you like, and they go the extra mile. And we've talked about all throughout today's show how important it is to do a little bit extra. Do something nice for somebody else. Give to somebody else, and they do that every single day. So go and see GG Cards and Breaks today and give back to local business right here in our community. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Tuesday through Saturday, open 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, I want to thank you for tuning in inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York. You can go out and see him in the country at Palladino Farms. You can also see him at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, right there at Sweetheart Corners. We will be there this Friday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. with boys and girls swimming from the Cicero North Syracuse High School, which is right down the road from Heritage Hill North. Heritage Hill North is the exclusive wake-up call home for all of our on-site broadcasts with CNS, student athletes, coaches, and administration. Come and see the North Stars every month at Heritage Hill North, including starting tomorrow as we continue our monthly series with CNS. We'll see you tomorrow on August 2nd at 6 p.m. with CNS, girls and boys swimming right there on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York. Big time thanks to Christopher Heidel, Adam Lemerise, and Matt Trecanelli from the HerbFM Sports Radio, speaking on ACC, as well as the bigger, more important things in life. Papa Joe speaking with me on Major League Baseball, and we are here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And once we go live, jump into the archive. Find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And a big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Heritage Hill Brewhouse, Heritage Hill North, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicoli's, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Find out what I'm talking about by going to 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Ma and Pa's, the snack capital, with cotton candy, lemonade, chocolate dipped pretzels, chocolate dipped Oreos, the Reese's dipped, as well as their new freeze-dried candy line. Over 70 flavors of popcorn and kettle corn all mixed up there, including the premium corn. I love the Elvis one, and I just got the orange creamsicle. Very excited about that, as well as their lemonades. Go to Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool today. GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, Servomation, and of course Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse Bobcats, and the Binghamton University Bearcats. You can find all of our content with each of these wonderful institutions by going to youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course you can find their playlists on our YouTube channel. You can also find them on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com and underneath the exclusive partners tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. For your Bobcats, go to Syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And for the Bearcats, go to BUBearcats.com. With that being said, once again, thanks to Chris, Adam, and Matt. Of course, to PJ. Thank you to you. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And as we welcome for the first time ever on our official first day of our partnership here on August 1st, 2024, I give you one more time, Brooklyn Pickle in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Go out and see them today and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Have a wonderful day.